Hey guys, welcome back. In today's video, I want to run through 5 polls that have come out recently, and in these polls, going to be focusing on the generic congressional ballot question. So, of the people that were polled, who are they more likely to vote for in their district, the Democratic candidate or the Republican candidate? And across the board, it's looking pretty positive for the Democrats. They're doing a bit better right now than they were a month or so prior. And after I go through the polling data, I want to give my 2 cents on why I think the Democrats are generally doing a little bit better now than maybe they were doing over the summer months. So starting off here with Reuters, we have the Democratic candidate getting 40% of the vote here, and then the Republican candidate at 32%, so an 8-point positive gap for the Democrats. And then in terms of registered voters, it ticks up 1 more percent than that at a 9% gap for the Democrats. Moving on to our next poll here that we have from CNN, and it has the Democratic Party candidate at 52% and the Republican Party candidate at 41%. So that's an 11% gap there. Moving on to Quinnipiac, and in their polling, they have the Democratic candidate at 51%, the Republican candidate at 42%, so a 9-point gap there. Moving on to the Pew Research, and they really go all out. They had about 4,000 registered voters in this one, and it has the Republicans at 39%, the Democrats at 46%, so a 7-point gap. And then wrapping up our 5th poll, we have here from Harris Interactive, and that has the Democratic candidate here at 43% and the Republican candidate at 32%. So again, another 11-point gap there. So very consistent numbers that we're getting across the board from these recent polls. And that just shows you the relative accuracy of these polls are all pretty much within about the margin of error of each other. And the reason why I think the Democrats in general are doing better in these generic congressional ballots than maybe they were over some of the earlier summer months or even maybe late spring months is, by and large, the Democrats were running on a platform of just anti-Trumpism, and although that is enough to get a lot of people out to vote, especially the Democratic registered voters in the Democratic Party, their hatred towards Trump is maybe enough to get those people to vote. But if you want to build a lead and have it be sustainable over the long term, you need to have an affirmative message what your party stands for. And over recent weeks and maybe just over about the last month or two, the Democratic Party has started to form more of a message, and it's really been a catalyst of the progressive movement within the Democratic Party. Seeing voices like an Ocasio-Cortez now come out, go across all of these different talk shows, doing tons of interviews, and getting an affirmative message out there, not just anti-Trump, but reasons to get people to go out and vote, maybe people that don't typically participate in the voting process, giving them something exciting to go out and vote for. And they're doing that with an affirmative message of policies that are aimed at trying to help working families, things like guaranteed health care, free college tuition at public universities, also raising the minimum wage to a living wage. And I feel like having an affirmative message in the Democratic platform is a difference maker in terms of getting the vote out more, in terms of the enthusiasm on the Democratic side, and trying to build a larger coalition going into the future instead of just trying to focus on the part of their base, a lot of these being registered Democrats that just hate the president, Donald Trump, and that being enough for them to go out and cast a ballot. It's about building a larger coalition. The only way you're going to do that is by having an affirmative message of what you're going to be doing for the voters instead of just being an anti-message of what's currently going on. So that's my 2 cents on why I think the polls are generally going in a better direction right now for the Democrats. Perhaps this isn't the case. It's just what I'm seeing as an onlooker in terms of the generic congressional ballot generally heading in a more positive direction. It seems to almost correlate very similarly to when Ocasio-Cortez was able to win her primary, and we've had since then some more progressive candidates also having success in winning elections. That's been able to get an affirmative message out there more so than perhaps what we were getting earlier in the summer or late spring. So that's pretty much going to wrap up this video, guys. I just wanted to touch on those 5 different polls that have come out recently on where the generic congressional ballot is sitting in mid-August. If you like this content, give the video a thumbs up. Give a comment on how you think things are going and why you think maybe the Democrats are gaining in terms of the percentage gap between themselves and the Republicans. Also, you can check out all of my analysis and prediction videos over on my YouTube channel, so I encourage you to subscribe for more. Thanks for stopping on in. Hope to see you guys back here for future videos.